The Mantis Lords are the freaking best. These three are a major test of our abilities. You won't win by luck or through attrition and healing. You need to know this fight to have a chance. So let's jump right in and learn it. 3 attacks to contend with this time. The Lunge, the Plunge, and the Whirlwind Slash. You may have noticed that the Lunge is the exact same name I gave to one of Hornet's attacks, and that's because, well, they're the exact same attack. A dash straight forward along the ground with nail outstretched. I told you to get used to dodging it. Jump over it, get in a nail pogo, and if you're feeling cheeky, follow it up with a hit to the back. The main thing to note is that the Mantis Lords will teleport in and out of the arena in between every single attack that they do. This can make them really agile and seem a bit overwhelming at times, but it actually makes them more predictable. Think about it. Once they've finished with an attack, you already know for sure that they're not going to attack again until they've teleported. So from the time that you dodge to the time that they disappear and reappear, you're basically safe. For the Plunge, they'll appear directly over the knight's head and then plunge downward. This attack can take you by surprise the first couple of times, but keep 2 things in mind. 1, its hitbox is really thin, and it doesn't take much to avoid. And for 2, this is the only attack that will begin with them appearing above you, so as soon as they show up, you already know which attack to dodge. The dash is a safe bet to create some distance quickly, but I'd recommend simply stepping to the side so that you can land a hit or 2 before they vanish again. Their final attack, the Whirlwind Slash, will have them appear at one of the walls and launch a projectile that sweeps across the stage in a boomerang pattern. This attack is far slower than the other 2, and gives you ample opportunity to deal some damage or heal. Be aware of 2 variants of this attack, which are based on the height at which the Lord appears. If they're on the level of the floor, they'll launch the disc low, and it will curve upwards. This is the best time to heal, because once you jump over the projectile, you have all the time in the world. If they appear above the stage, they'll launch the disc high and it will curve downwards. You can still heal, but the timing is a touch stricter. Either way, all dodging this attack takes is a single jump. You can also pogo on the disc if you just want to stunt on them. And that's it, right? Rinse and repeat for 3 lords? Wrong. Dead wrong. Once you defeat the first lord, the other 2 will enter the arena simultaneously, attacking you back to back or twice at once. The attacks are nearly identical. The main difference is the frequency. Most often, they will stagger their attacks and come at you with a combination of lunges and plunges. Dodging both of them is essentially the same as dodging one. Jump over the dashes and sidestep the drops. The main complication is that they can use a combination of the plunges to force you to the side of the arena and then hit you as they appear for a lunge. In Phase 1, the solo lord would never appear on top of you like this, but the duo have no such scruples, I guess. The only way around this is to simply make sure that you return to center stage as often as possible and avoid those corners. Sometimes they will also perform a double lunge, where one appears at each side of the stage and they both dash across. This is probably their easiest attack to deal with, and getting that perfect nail pogo on both of them at the same time is just so satisfying. Finally, as a pair, they completely alter the way they use Whirlwind Slash. They'll both appear high up on the walls and always send their projectiles downwards. The 2 varieties in this phase are whether or not they have a long arc or a short arc. The long arc is a little harder to dodge, but again, a single jump at the right time is all it takes. The short arc is much easier, because there's this perfect little knight-sized blind spot right here underneath the point where the 2 meet. This is your absolute best opportunity to heal. It is also possible to get a hit in during this attack, but honestly, I don't think the risk is worth it. It's also worth noting that they'll always do this attack in response to you wall jumping, and it can cause them to desynchronize and do some weird stuff. Some of this can be downright unpredictable and random. Ultimately, I just do not recommend wall jumping at all, especially since there's a chance that they can spawn on top of you while you're up there. Well, that was a lot, but it's time for the game plan. Your greatest enemy in this fight is your own panic. The double attacks can certainly look overwhelming, but keep a cool head and pay attention. This is kind of abstract, but essentially, just remember that you are in control of the fight. Since they're only on screen when they're attacking, and all of their attacks are so rigid, bear in mind that you always dictate the few possible locations that they can appear. Center stage is your very best friend. Cherish it and return to it whenever possible. During lunges and plunges, don't over-rely on dashes to dodge. Try to dodge things with short jumps and small sidesteps. If you start dodging by dashing across the screen, you're most likely to just get caught off guard by their teleporting. Finally, only heal during the Whirlwind Slashes. I hope you've got all that. Here we go. Before fighting them, if we wander over here, this door will slam shut, preventing us from advancing further to the left. But there is a secret crumbling wall up here that makes the incoming fight much easier. 2 extra hits for us from a very well hidden lifeblood cocoon. Our next opponents are the Mantis Lords. Here we go. Obviously, these guys have had a pretty big HP buff since our first fight. But in addition to that, we have gotten a whole lot stronger. Of course, once again, with the Shade Cloak, using it to counter pretty much anything that they throw out is possible on this first phase. It's the second phase where things really get cool. You may remember that something they tended to do was sort of force us over to the ledge with these downward dashes of theirs. But now we have a really easy way to get out of that with the help of our Shade Cloak. Of course, using a Abyss Shriek on them when they're up on the wall is a really good idea. Takes out a lot of their HP very, very quickly. Going in against their Ascended form, things change a little bit significantly now that the subsequent 2 Mantis Lords actually have more HP than the first. It makes it so that the second phase of the fight is going to last a lot longer than the first. But that's all just as well, because I still love this fight to death. This is one of the absolute best ones there is. Let's go ahead and take this brief moment to heal up and prepare for the real fight. I just love how fast-paced it is. Every single movement feels like a dance. I don't know why I did that. I thought they were going to come in above me. Oh, again! You guys are messing this whole thing up for me. Don't use your Shade Cloak too liberally. You probably want to use it whenever you're at the edge of the stage in order to safely make your way back. But other than that, not too many differences here or there. Ooh, I love that. Always love that. Now, we obviously couldn't have possibly had the Mark of Pride the first time we fought these guys, because it was our reward for beating them. But it makes everything in this fight even easier and even more fluid. And I am none too worried about facing them on Radiant difficulty. Let's bring it on. Alright, bring it on, you two. Because I know just like looking at it, this fight doesn't look that fast pace. But when you're actually in it and you've got the speedy back and forth and this really rapid music, everything just feels so good, so swift. Another dance, another swifty. I don't even know what I'm saying at this point. I am focusing a little harder whenever we go up against a Radiant fight, which I have no doubt makes my running commentary take a little bit of a dive in quality, but there we go. First try on them. Another bow in response. Honor among honor. Thank you for watching Boss Blitz. As usual, if you check out the playlist on the top left there, you will find just about anything that I didn't cover in this video. Next up is gonna be the Soul Warrior.